Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play the other Kyrandia. Let's go back in. Oh look, hearts. This is the screen you see every time you return to the game. And I want to once again point out the word Dagoba in this description. I wonder if they meant pagoda or something. I don't know. Anyway, one thing I forgot to do last time is read the level titles and descriptions. Level 2 is, of course, called Magic User. Level 3, we're at level 3 now. Let's see. No, that doesn't work. Okay, so level 3 is called Evoker. An air of egotism surrounds Daniel, who holds his head high and walks tall and proud. You seem to find something ironically humorous in his behavior and something extremely hilarious about his wardrobe. Although he is wearing a fine light green robe, it has a very large hole in the rear. His patch of sorcery has Evoker woven in brown threads. He seems to hold a okay, so the description is always the same for a given level. Also, there are two locations, one to the north and one to the south of here. You will notice there are some lavender roses here, so I think I can. No, I guess not. Well, anyway, to the north is the healer's abode. Covered in a layer of purple mist, this marble shrine is the abode of a kind and gentle healer. Not only amiable, the healer who stands before you is also beautiful. She smiles at you sympathetically and mouths the words, "For a donation, I'll gladly tend to all your needs." Suddenly you do feel a little feverish and the need for some medical attention. The temple lies to the south. Now, if you try to give her gold or gemstone, let's see. Got to get the right word order here. Let's see. Donate. No, I guess it doesn't work with that. I forgot what the correct command is. Well, anyway, what you have to do is go out and find a flower and come back here and give it to her. But we don't have one of those. So we'll take a look to the south. You're at a wise man's shanty. This dirty, run-down, and odorous piece of shelter is home to a lonely, eccentric miser who happens to be the wisest man in the land, although not the friendliest. He is standing just a little off to your right with his hand stretched out, perhaps in greetings, perhaps for gold. He grins at you impishly and spits a large glob of some disgusting substance which you neither recognize nor care to recognize. The only escape seems to be the temple to the north. Now, I haven't figured out what you can actually do here, but I suspect, because I've heard that the game can be configured to allow users to trade in-game gold for BBS credits, and credits are kind of the uh, what you normally do is you pay actual money in exchange for credits, and then credits are used for time and other things on the BBS. So, but anyway, if that's the case, the wise man is useless here. So, next thing, I'm going to go to the place where we will eventually get to level 4 by putting our birthstones on an altar. First of all, I'm going to set brief descriptions, and then I should pick up some garnets here. Oh yeah, and let's take a look at some of these things, like the garnet. Small and round, this dark red garnet is one of the more common gemstones of the land, yet nonetheless has a certain charm of its own. Like all of the garnets which are normally found, there is a tiny black splotch in its center. Anyway, let's hit verbose again. Long. I think it was unbrief, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to go into the forest. You're in a dark forest. Tall, ominous pine trees surround you, their thick, bristly branches hanging down and making it difficult to proceed in any direction. Almost all of the sunlight is blocked out by the densely packed trees, and the few rays which do filter down create dark, menacing shadows which seem to dance along the leafy forest floor. As you glance around, this location appears to be very similar to the rest of the forest, making it confusing to determine your exact location. And all of the forest locations are, except the special locations, have the exact same description, so I'll just skip over. Oh, there's a dryad. The dryad is a female tree nymph about 4 feet tall with long blonde hair and large deep blue eyes. She smiles at you warmly and bows to you respectfully. You also notice a lavender rose placed perfectly in the middle of her beautiful hair. The dryad smiles at you, bows respectfully, and vanishes in a purplish flash of light. I wanted to show something, but too late. I'll show it later. And then to the west of here, you're in a natural chapel, truly a work of natural magic. This small space in the forest has been shaped by the powers of the universe into a breathtaking chapel dedicated to the goddess Tishana. The most beautiful assortment of tall trees, blooming flowers, and luscious bushes you have ever seen grow in orchestrated harmony in the form of a protected, peaceful, and enchanting sanction. You mean sanctuary? To the west, through a natural archway of oaks, lies an altar. The dark forest extends off in all other directions. Now let's go inside. You're at a silver altar, enclosed by large, majestic oak trees. This small alcove is illuminated by a beautiful, shining altar carved from pure silver. Its holy radiance fills your soul with peace and love, leaving you breathless with joy. The altar is surrounded by several lavender rose bushes, their purplish pulchritude complementing the brilliance of the altar. The only exit is an archway of oaks to the east. There is a ruby and an aquamarine. Oh, more gemstones to examine and try. The ruby is a deep shade of red, and its many facets sparkle brilliantly as you examine it, enchanting you with its crimson glimmer. It isn't much bigger than half your palm, but seems quite heavy for its size. It's a pretty large gemstone, if you think about it. And then the aquamarine is a beautiful light blue gem. It is shaped like a small triangle with darker shades of blue in the center. Because of its unique shape, it also acts like a prism, refracting any light that enters it into vivid tiny rainbows. Let's see. Yeah. So it's pretty much the same as in the Legend of Kyrandia, except there isn't a plate or anything on top of it. You just put garnet on altar. Or offer. Why am I forgetting all these things? Offer garnet. The goddess accepts your offer, but in your soul you realize that your offering was not one of your birthstones or was out of sequence. So, we know the first one is not a garnet. Let's try the let's try the aquamarine since it's not as valuable. And it's not an aquamarine either. And try the ruby. It's not a ruby. So let's see. What do I have? Okay, let's take a tour around the forest while I look for more gemstones. Forest, more garnets. Oh, there's a sapphire. The sapphire is a medium-sized gemstone, dark blue in color, except for a small white spot in its center which shines blazingly, a star sapphire. One of the rarer and more beautiful jewels, you feel power in this royal treasure. Further south, more garnets, another aquamarine. Oh yeah. You're at a bubbling spring of water. Crystal clear water spouts from the heavy undergrowth from a small limestone fissure in the ground. The unmistakable scent of spring water fills your nostrils and brings a feeling of freshness to your soul. Blooming near this sparkling spray of water, a beautiful lavender rosebush flourishes colorfully. Dark forest stretches off in all directions. So one thing we can get is a rose. You pick one of the beautiful lavender roses and add it to your possessions. And then off to the east, another important location. You're in a dead wooded glade, merely a clump of old leafless and rotting fir trees. Whatever pestilence caused their death, its evil seems to linger in the air, and the ghostly fingers of the barren branches almost seem to reach out to you, beckoning you to your death. An icy wind blows across your face and whistles harrowingly through the dead limbs. Something about this location fills your soul with fear, and your heart beats faster as you glance around in terror of this unknown evil. Dark forest lies off in all directions. So, well, we can't do anything yet. Here's a pearl. The pearl is a lovely little stone, pure white in color, with a shiny surface that reflects all surrounding light, causing it to sparkle with a special brilliance of its own. You're at the Tree of Rubies. This glittering tree of magic is covered with big, beautiful, and shining rubies, which seem to be begging to be plucked from their branches. However, you also hear several strange hissing sounds coming from within the dark recesses of this tree's lush green leaves. For some strange reason, as you glance around, a vision appears in your mind of a beautiful woman who is concealing a dagger for which to slay her lover. The vision vanishes as quickly as it had appeared, leaving you wondering about the duality of the universe for a moment. So if you try to take a ruby from this tree, similar to in the Legend of Kyrandia, you'll be bitten by a snake, but you won't necessarily die in this version. You just take damage. But I'm not going to try that right now. Further off to the east, you're in a glade of pines, swaying back and forth in the gentle breezes of the forest. Several clumps of pine trees thrive in this darkened glade. The ground is littered with millions of fallen pine needles, creating a spongy bed on the forest floor. You also notice several pine cones dangling from the trees, some within your reach, although the wind keeps the tree branches in motion. The eerie whistling of the wind through the boughs above you sends a shiver down your spine. So here we have the main way to get spells, other than the ones that are sold at the spell shop. What do you have to do? Let me check my inventory here. I need to open up a spot. Okay. Let me take if I can type this right. You have to take 3 pine cones. And then go to the north. And then the east. You're near the fountain of eternal magic. Concealed for eons within the depths of the surrounding dark forest, this enchanting and mystical jet of shimmering iridescent water rises grandly before you. Rising from a beautiful well carved from the purest white marble, this resplendent wonder radiates an aura of powerful sorcery, its glittering water inviting you to drink its enticing ambrosia. A splendid portrait of the goddess Tashana has been inscribed in the base of this fountain, along with an engraving which reads, and that's a cryptogram. What you have to do is reverse all the letters, and then you take all the letters of each word except the last one. So what you have is legends pass and time goes by, but my love for you will never die. Which is kind of a clue to something later on. But for now, what we do drop 3 pine cones. I don't think I'm doing this right. Or am I? Okay, there we go. I have to throw them. And then when you throw the third one, or maybe not. Wasn't it 3? Let me go and get some more. Come on. This is what makes it especially tedious. Okay. I guess it doesn't work yet, but it'll be important later on. I'll just come back here. I guess I'm trying to do this too soon. Let's finish up our tour of the southern part. To the east. You're in a shady natural shelter. The boughs of the surrounding elm trees have grown together, enclosing this small area into a protected natural shelter. The dirt floor is covered with a layer of dry fallen leaves. No sunlight is able to penetrate through the natural roof of this shelter, and it is illuminated only by the reflections of the forest around it. The air is slightly humid and has an odor of decaying vegetation. Dark forest continues off in all directions. Might as well pick up the pearl and the garnet. Let's see, to the north. You're at a flaming thicket. Radiating intense energy, this blazing natural inferno glows a deep red as its orange tongues of fire lash out at you aggressively. Although you can feel the destructive power of this conflagration, it doesn't seem to spread beyond the thicket, and, even more surprisingly, the thicket appears perfectly intact and unharmed. The sporadic crackles of the fire make you jump. And, okay, I'm going to go back, turn on brief. And go back to the village. Let's see. Did I mention you can only carry 6 objects at a time, and each location can only hold 6 objects. It's kind of inconvenient. Come on, type it right. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, village outskirts, village square. I haven't tried the pearl yet, or the sapphire. I have an extra pearl. Okay. I have tried the ruby, so I can sell that. That gives me 32 gold total. Let's see if there's anything I can buy at the shop. Well, how are you would be useful if there were anyone else actually playing. Well, might as well buy no ouch. Okay, so give rows. Give rows to healer. Oh, maybe it was... No. Oh yeah. Of course. Offer. So this is how you get healed. Any injuries you sustain don't get automatically healed over time. So you have to come here for healing. But if you try offering anything else, like say offer a pearl, the healer denies your offer and tells you to be less materialistic, to appreciate and respect more of the beauty of nature. See, that was the clue. Now I'm going to go back to the altar. And try the pearl. It's not a pearl. What else do I have? Okay, try the sapphire. Not a sapphire. Emerald? Not an emerald. Okay, well, might as well continue the tour. Oh, wait a minute. There's an onyx. Try the onyx right away. It's not an onyx. Okay. Right. You're in the Druid's Circle. This unparalleled spectacle of enchantment is totally awe-inspiring, and your soul is filled with wonder. 3 silver rings, encompassing the entire area, magically float in the air, stacked upon each other. They are surrounded by a wide circle of the largest and most majestic oak trees you have ever laid eyes upon. In the center of this dazzling vortex is a brightly glowing orb of pure light, whose brilliance is almost blinding. You can feel the powerful presence of the goddess Tishana radiating throughout all of this mystical and holy sphere. And to the east, wow, several rubies. Try to keep that in mind. Oh, more rubies. Wow. That's certainly rare. To the south, you're at a bubbling brook. Twisting its way through the terrain of the forest, this sparkling stream of fresh water has surfaced from the depths of the forest underneath to the east to flow visibly along a rocky bed for a short distance. However, it once again winds through the heavy vegetation to become hidden as it flows off to the west. From the sunlight which filters through the dense forest around you, you occasionally see brief golden glitters within the brook. Dark forest continues in all directions. And if we go to the east, we'll hit one of the teleports, which I don't want to use right now, so I'm going to avoid that. And to the north, you're near a platinum tree. Yet another wonder of the world of the goddess Tishana. Before you rises a magnificent oak tree, magically turned to solid platinum, sparkling in the sunlight. Even more awe-inspiring, however, are the branches of this platinum beauty, which have grown together in the shape of a large heart, emanating an aura of powerful magic and love. In the mystical zephyrs which waft through this around this tree, you hear whispers of words that you cannot clearly hear, but which bring peace to your soul. Dark forest surrounds you in all other directions. Okay, and there's a sapphire and a ruby. And a couple of locations to the east. You're at the tree of the mockingbird. This oddly shaped tree has been naturally shaped into the likeness of a large bird, wings spread out, mouth agape in a cry of the wild. At the very top of the tree you can hear the flutter of wings, an occasional glimpse of feathers, and the unmistakable cry of the mockingbird. The ground is splattered with excess bird remains. And then finally, oh wow, there's a diamond. Better pick that up. Let's see. Yeah. The diamond, the legendary jewel which represents eternal love, is truly a spectacular wonder to behold. Its thousands of facets glitter dazzlingly as you examine it, almost mesmerizing you with their dancing radiance. You're at an abandoned campsite. This small clearing has the remains of a campsite littered about its center. Ashes from a fire, broken branches, and trampled undergrowth mark this place as a once well-used base camp. Written on a nearby tree, apparently carved by a previous camper, is the phrase, "Travel fast and travel far." The writing then ends abruptly. That's the clue to a puzzle that we have to solve very much later. But let's see. Let's take a look off to the east. Wow, another diamond. I think I'll take this other one and sell it. And here we have the Vale of the Butterflies. Truly a paradise in reality, this magnificent natural beauty is a wonder to behold. Flowers of all varieties, colors, and scents bloom majestically, creating a regal hall of nature. Yet even more resplendent and marvelous are the hundreds of thousands of florid and exotic butterflies which sail all around you, carried by the gentle breezes of the forest. Dark forest lies in all other directions. And oh, here's a necklace. Okay, come on. Type it right. The necklace is a wonderfully crafted piece of jewelry, made from the finest silver and adorned with numerous precious stones, from rubies to diamonds to emeralds. You feel a certain sense of peace in your soul as you examine it. I'm not exactly sure what these are for. I'm just going to leave it here for now. Off to the west, you're at an ancient grave. Eerie white mists float hauntingly around a slab of marble with strange etchings carved into its polished surface. You hear the spine-tingling shriek of an owl somewhere high above in the midst of the dark branches of the surrounding ash trees. A cold, biting wind nips at your face, and you feel as though someone or something is watching your every move intensely. Let's see, I'm not sure. I don't think there was anything. No. Okay, so up to the north and west is a grove of oaks. These magnificent and majestic soldiers of the forest stand tall and proud, rising above the forest in an aura of sheer power and wisdom. Something about their august presence fills your soul with courage and determination. As you glance around, a vision suddenly appears in your mind of the goddess Tishana, who smiles at you warmly and whispers in your ear, "No matter where you go, I will be with you." The vision then vanishes as quickly as it had appeared. Let's see. A couple of places to the east. You're near a large statue. Located in the middle of the dark forest, this incredible work of art would be amazing if discovered within the finest art gallery of Kyrandia, and so far lost deep in the center of a dark forest. You feel a powerful urge to examine the statue more closely, and in your mind you cannot help but to wonder about the nature of the artist who created this, his inspiration and dedication. Okay, so let's examine the statue. The statue is a beautiful work of art depicting a young man and a royal lady of incredible charm, holding each other close, facing any obstacles of the world together. There is something so lifelike about this statue, it enchants you with a certain magic, filling your heart and soul with an unending feeling of eternal peace and love. And further north and east, you're near a hollow stump. Protruding from the dense undergrowth of the forest, this decrepit and decaying stump has been hollowed out by time and nature. Although you cannot see through the darkness of the stump, you can smell a putrid odor of unimaginable origin. You hear the faint rush of running water off to the north, and dark forest surrounds you in all other directions. And then to the north and west, you're in a small field of lilacs, a breezy, sunlit opening within the vast forest. This small field is alive with the grass and lilacs waving in the gentle wind. Without the tall trees of the forest obstructing too much of your view, you can now discern large mountains shrouded in purplish mists far off in the west. You are also quite aware of the continuous buzzing of assorted insects which swarm around you in this grassy clearing. To the north and east, we have a cluster of ash trees. Silent and solemn in their pose, these ash trees are analogous to coffin bearers in mourning. You can almost feel the sorrow and regret these ancestral guardians of peace, whose realm has been disturbed by a spreading pain of evil, which has destroyed the very roots of their existence. As you look around, you feel emotions swelling in your soul, feeling sorry for the sorrow and pain of the world. Let's see. And then a little bit to the south and to the west, you're at the base of a densely wooded hill. A pine-covered hill rises up to the west, although densely overgrown. Overhanging pine branches sweep past your head in the intermittent gusts of air which blow down from the hill to the west. An odor of sweet flowers emanates from somewhere off to the south, and you hear the faint rush of water off to the north. For a moment, as you look around, you get a feeling of loneliness. Except for the rising hill to the west, dark forest lies in all other directions. We go to the west. You're on a densely wooded hill. Sloping steeply up to the west, this hill is covered with tall pine trees and thick undergrowth. You hear the hum of bees in somewhere in one of the nearby pines, accompanied by the rather annoying, although harmonious, chirping of birds. The air seems to become cleaner up to the west, and the base of this hill lies down to the east. And then finally, you're on a plateau. Rising slightly above the tree line of the forest, this leveled peak of rocky grassland gives you an excellent view of the entire region extending for miles in all directions. Off to the northeast, you can see the sparkle of the sea. To the west, a misty mountain range, and off in all directions, deep, dark forest. The air is crisp and clean, and you feel good to be alive. A wooded hill slopes down to the east. And then to the north of the base of the hill, you're in a small clearing in a forest. The sweet smell of springtime drifts through the gentle breeze in this small grassy clearing. Dew drips from the petals of the assorted flowers, which are blooming freely here, and the ground is soft and damp. Above you, the sky is a beautiful bright shade of blue, with fluffy white clouds sailing smoothly across the horizon. Your soul feels at peace in this natural sanctuary. It's sanctuary, not sanction. Surrounding you in all directions, blah blah blah. Okay, and then there's an opal here, which we'll examine. The opal, strangely enough, doesn't appear to have any color. In fact, this gem seems to be almost invisible, barely distinguishable in your hands. It has a certain mysterious vibration to its substance. That's interesting. I've never examined all the gemstones, so let's see. Let me check. Okay, I have plenty of inventory left. You're on the banks of a lush lagoon. To the north, a sparkling deep blue sea flows out across the horizon. You're on a beautiful sandy shore, which is shaded by the boughs of overhanging cypress trees, which extend past the shoreline and finally touch the water, their leaves floating gently on its smooth surface. As you gaze into the sparkling sea, a beautiful image of the goddess Tishana appears in human form for a fleeting moment, and then suddenly transforms into a spectacular Pegasus and flies away in the chimerical images of the waves. There's an amethyst here, which we haven't seen yet. The amethyst is a crystalline purple stone. Its jagged facets refract any light into myriad reddish-blue images which dance almost magically before your eyes. Then we go around and continue to the west. And then here, now this looks like a regular forest location, but if you look further down, as you glance around, you happen to notice a small shrine, almost completely hidden in the underbrush. You feel a tingle of excitement in your very heart and soul. It is very confusing to determine your exact location. So it's kind of hidden in there, easy to miss. Especially if you have brief descriptions on, because then it just looks like an ordinary forest location, as you can see here. And further south and a little west, You are near a strange large rock. This uniquely shaped boulder dominates this small dark clearing within the surrounding forest. The ground is rather damp and muddy, and the air is rather moist and muggy. A faint purplish mist hovers around the base of the rock, creating an aura of divine mysticism. The sunlight which filters down through the surrounding trees creates fantastical shadows, seeming to dance around with their own souls. Dark forest, etc. And then over here, you're at a terraced waterfall. Gently flowing water tinkling down layers of polished purplish stone paint a majestic landscape before your eyes. A few rays of sunlight filter through the nearby forest growth to glitter off the shallow rushing water, sparkling with a holy radiance. As you behold this natural fascination, a surge of overwhelming emotions fills your soul with a love beyond anything describable. You notice an entrance to a cave to the north, and dark forest lies in all other directions. To the north, you're at the entrance to a dark cave. Before you rises a colossal mountain cliff of solid granite with a small dark hole at the base leading into a dark cave. The ground is rather rocky, with assorted patches of grass sprouting like oases in a desert of gray granite. To the east, a large waterfall thunders loudly as a smaller terraced waterfall flows off to the south. I'm not going to go into the cave just now, but we'll be there later. To the east, you're at a large sparkling waterfall. Rushing white water plunges down this great cataract, sending sprays of cold spring water in all directions. Perhaps the most august, magnificent, and inspiring scene of nature you have ever witnessed, this majestic sparkling cascade takes your breath away with its sheer natural beauty. This graceful torrent rushes down into a clear, deep pool which flows into a surging stream that vanishes into the undergrowth to the east. Several assorted green plants have flourished in the rich soil nearby, complemented by a few blooming lavender rose bushes, all adding to the final touch of perfection to this heaven on earth. You see a cavern behind the falls to the north, an entrance to a cave to the west, and dark forest to the south and east. So if we go north, you're at the secret shrine of Tashana. Hidden behind the plunging cascade of water and covered in purplish mists, this sacred spot radiates an aura of unmatched good. The shrine itself is in the shape of a unicorn, carved from pure silver, which glitters in the spray of the waterfall, shining in a holy brilliance that fills your soul with awe. The rest of this wizened cavern appears to have been carved from solid, unflawed amethyst, which sparkles incandescently, dazzling you with its iridescence. The only exit is through the waterfall to the south. I wonder. Examine shrine. No. Okay. And finally, go straight to the south a ways. You're in a small lush valley. This fertile dish of the forest is a little below sea level, and as a result the air is sultry and the ground is wet with the remnants of previous rainfalls. Several tiny pink flowers have sprouted amongst the heavy green undergrowth, adding a touch of color and light to this mass of thriving vegetation. Dark forest continues off in all directions, endlessly. Let's see, did I ever examine an opal? Yeah, I did. Okay. Okay, so we've seen all the special locations in this region. So let's go back to the silver altar. Try the amethyst. Not an amethyst. Is it an opal? Not an opal. Wait a minute. No, okay. Okay. Try a diamond. It's not a diamond. So the only things left, the only two possibilities are bloodstone and moonstone. I'm going to take a break because I'm getting rather hungry. And when we come back, well, I think I'll just skip the rest of my attempts and my searching for the gemstones. So be back.